what's up? It is I, Surreal ASMR. Did I bring you yet another story that I found on Reddit? Once again, r/no sleep coming in clutch when I have no ideas. Quite a bummer, really. Anyways, enough waffling. Do consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. It would really help the channel, and it would make me real happy. And being happy is good. Anyways, today's story comes from polonium poisoning. Oof, what a name. And it's called Mars Didn't Used to Be the Fourth Planet on the Solar System. Does anyone remember Orcus? Sounds interesting. Let's get this started. It was properly cold, rainy and eerie night, and the blissful veil of ignorance was lifted from my eyes. This is not a story about astronomy. I am a mere college professor, teaching subjects seldom related to cosmos. This is a story about how easy it was for unknown forces to manipulate all of mankind. If memory serves, Orcus had been one of the first planets to be discovered through the modern telescope. Despite its proximity to Earth in ancient times, astronomers were unable to see it due to its color, making it blend almost perfectly with the void around it. I never gave Orcus a lot of thought, other than when I had to talk about it in my classes. Orcus had a unique black atmosphere, which had been speculated to be compounded by crude oil decades ago. Needless to say, a certain country took an obsessive interest on it. I remember that the exploration of Orcus initiated more than a decade after the successful landing of the moon. It was very low-key for something so big, but back then a lot of discoveries were being made. From infrared satellites being released to exoplanets being found. It was a subject of interest to chemistry, but not enough for it to come up more than once a year. And every year, I show my first-time students the same PowerPoint presentation about the chemical composition of all planets, focusing on Orcus, unanimously considered the coolest by all of my classes. Up until 2012, everything had gone smoothly. Then 2013 came, and the faces in the classroom were either confused or amused, but in a way that showed I was the butt of the joke. "What's the problem?" I asked, truly ignorant. I looked at the current slide, half expecting it to show me in my underwear dancing with my dog. But there was nothing wrong with it. It was Orcus. "Did you just make up a planet, Professor?" one of my most competent students asked. "Don't be silly. All of you know very well all the planets, don't you? They didn't teach you this at elementary school? How many planets are there in the solar system, sir?" Another student asked with a tone almost too benevolent, like I was some dying man who forgot his own name. 10 or 9? I mean, Pluto comes and goes, but other than that, it's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Orcus, Mars. "Sir, why not try Googling the planet Orcus?" I complied, still half thinking they had organized an elaborate prank, but slightly nervous. No results. They all looked at me with such pity that I dismissed the class and spent most of my morning crying in the parking lot. I was getting old and mad. The next day I was summoned to the dean's office. The university, almost too generously, offered sending me to an isolated research facility where I could develop my studies full-time and still get about 70% of my teacher's salary. Twice divorced, with no kids, and rarely visited by my few living relatives. I was more than happy to agree, and in a matter of days, I was renting my house while moving halfway across the country to work alone. Besides, I was too embarrassed to return to that classroom. My lodging was a pleasant cottage, with a great laugh of one behind it. My bedroom had a nice view to distant deep blue mountains, and the university sent me a housekeeper once a week. She even brought me groceries. From 2013 to 2020, life was a blur of immersing myself in my work, improving my baking abilities, and talking to no one. The housekeeper was Russian, and when she showed signs of learning English, she was replaced by a Brazilian one. It was early February when Sarah knocked on my door, a former student of mine who had become a brilliant astronomer. "I finally found you. You remember Orcus too, right?" I gladly let her in, the first visit I had in almost a decade. and made us some good tea from the herbs I've been growing myself. You sleep with noise-cancelling headphones, right? She asked. I shook my head no. Then I remembered that I used to before I lived in all this peace and quiet. Her face switched from determination to a shard of panic, then confidence. I knew it. That had to be it. That's how they didn't catch your memory then. She then proceeded to tell me everything she knew about the fourth planet of the solar system. And there was a lot. The night came, cold and wet, and I had her stay. She didn't protest. In fact, it seemed to be her plan all along. Although I was over twice her age, I became her apprentice for the next 2 weeks. When I realized Orcus was no more, I kept my mouth shut. They made the university send you to a retreat. That was clever. You were completely neutralized, but being an astronomer, I'm a different story. People will start to believe the truth, if it comes from me. So promise me that if I ever disappear, you'll make public everything I've told you. I promised, no matter what they do to me, she added under her breath. No matter what they do to me. And it didn't take long. We didn't realize the housekeeper was probably forced to report anything different in the house. On the first week, Sarah managed to hide, but probably suspicious that things were a lot different in the house and afraid to be punished. The maid rummaged through the lab until she found my partner in crime. It was another cold and rainy night when they came. First, the lights all went out, then the shadows surrounding us became solid, and Sarah let out a pained scream, a naturally raspy, robotic voice, so emotionless that it felt evil, piped up.
Stop pursuing Orcus.
I passed out, and when I woke up in the morning, Sarah was gone. The signs of struggle were everywhere. Slowly, I started to put back my damaged furniture. I thought that maybe if I actually made a conscious effort to forget it all, she would be released. I kept my mouth shut and focused my whole mind on research, although it felt pointless now. But over the next weeks, I received more boxes with her body parts. So here's my story. For Sarah. I don't have a lot of time, as I notice solid shadows moving around just waiting until nightfall to catch me. But I'll summarize what I learned from her. Between the years 2005 and 2011, NASA discovered that Orcus's blackness wasn't due to its atmosphere, but due to the singular nature of the planet and the living entities on it. It's hard to explain, but basically, the beings on the planet and the planet are one. A black sentient mass that can shapeshift virtually anything. Of course, this information was top secret. By 2012, Sarah herself had discovered a groundbreaking information. The Orclings fed on thoughts and knowledge. They phagocyted all the space probes that NASA sent to Orcus right after the information was transmitted, indicating that they wanted to be found out. Knowing that a disaster was on its way to wipe out mankind, a selected group of plutocrats requested a deal with Orcus. They complied. On December 21st, 2012, there was a worldwide blackout, although this knowledge was wiped out too. When we woke up, things were off, but similar enough for us to go about our daily lives. Not even Sarah knows how they did that, but there's no doubt. Take a good look at everything around you. Are things actually normal? When you turn off the lights and stay very, very still. Don't you feel something solid and quiet, moving in the solid blackness of the shadows? I know that your memory was eaten, but if you really put your mind on it, you'll realize that the world you're seeing now is nothing but a simulation of how life on Earth used to be, because the planet that disappeared without a trace wasn't Orcus. It was Earth. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend if you'd like. It will really help me out. It's been your boy Surreal ASMR, and I'll see you later.